ever run into something that just really intrigued you? You loved the way it looked, you loved the way it was made, and you just thought, man, I gotta have that. And that's kind of what this was for me when I saw this on Amazon. Now, I've never been much of a neck knife kind of guy, and I saw this, and just the form, the shape of it, looked so functional. Came with a sheath, and I don't have the chain on here right now, with a belt clip, and oh, the whole package just seemed really intriguing to me. So I thought I would tell you about it. Let's put it on the workbench, and we'll take a look at it, and you can see what it was that, you know, really made me feel like I had to buy it, and we'll see if you agree. So before we do, if you would, please click on the like and subscribe buttons. Let's put this thing on the bench and take a look. Okay, so this is the knife. The brand, best I can figure out how to pronounce it, is OMESIO. It is not a word I've ever seen before. I tried to Google translate the word to see if I could find any kind of language that translated into. The only thing I came up with was a Greek translation, basically that meant intermediate. So I'm not thinking that's what it is, but that's the knife. The thing that really drew me to this knife was the design. It's just really beautifully shaped. I loved this curved line here. This is flat ground, it's not hollow ground, and I'm really intrigued by how they did this radius on a flat grind. That to me is just really kind of intriguing. But it's beautifully fit and finished. There's no unevenness, no rough spots, no I mean, it's just really beautifully done. And one of the things that kind of attracted to me, I really love a Canadian belt knife, and I have a review on this one from Cold Steel. And I don't know, if you look at the angle of the blade to the handle, it's quite different. But I don't know, to me there was some connective tissue there. This leaf-shaped blade and this handle that, you know, it's narrow and then gets a little bit wider. I know it's not really a miniature of that Canadian belt knife, but to me, I don't know, there was something just really striking about this shape and this design that, I don't know, it was attractive to me. So, the knife is got several really nice things about it. The first one is the price. This is $24.99 on Amazon, and it's kind of a hard to beat price. It is just really affordable. That's another thing that really drew it to me. One of the main things also is the steel it's made of. This is made of D2 steel. Now D2 is a carbon steel. It's not a stainless. It's actually a tool steel, and it is used in making dies, like the kind of dies that are used to stamp out knife blades and other metal objects. So it's a really tough steel. It's considered a high carbon, high chromium steel. It was developed concurrently with a lot of the effort to develop stainless steel. In fact, the patent for this steel was applied for in 1927. The steel is considered high carbon. You know, we talk about 1095 steel having about 1% carbon in it. And that's kind of like for good quality blade steel, that's kind of like the standard, the place you want to start with carbon. This has 1.55% carbon, so it's an even higher level of carbon in it. It's got 12% chromium, and normally at that level of chromium, we would say it must be a stainless steel. But in fact, the way this steel is made, the chromium is tied up in the carbides that create the hardness, so it's really not available for protection against rust. In fact, if you'll remember, if you've seen it, I did a video on a fleece bushcraft knife that's made of D2, and when I got it, it actually had some rust on the blade. In fact, this steel will rust, and you have to keep it oiled. There is that. Now, this also has 0.25% vanadium and 0.8% molybdenum. Those have to do with, how it heat treats. And in terms of edge retention, I found a website called the knifesteelnerds.com. I'll put a link in the description for the article on this video. But they did an article on D2 steel, and their testing, it came up with having 124% of the edge retention of 440C. 440C has about 1% carbon. And so it's, better edge retention than 440C, and 102% So slightly better than 154 cm in terms of edge retention. So D2 is no slouch in terms of blade steel. This is typically hardened to around Rockwell 61, if it's hardened, as much as it should be or could be. D2 is known to be tougher than 440C or even S90V, so it's got a lot of toughness to it too, which it would have to be used to, as a die steel, tool steel. So D2 steel is one of my favorite knife steels. It's one of the reasons I also was attracted to this. Just some specs on this. The blade from the end of the handle to the tip is 3 inches. The distance from the sharpening choil here to the tip is 2.4 inches. So this is 3, this is 2.4. The scales are 2.85 inches, and it's got a nice size lanyard hole, one you can actually get something through. And total overall length on this thing is 5.85 inches. So it's not a very big knife. It does not, I don't have really huge hands, but it doesn't, completely cover my palm. But I found it very comfortable. This finger choil up here at the front just really works well, and if you'll notice, it's nicely radiused right here, so it's not going to dig into the front edge of your finger. That was well thought out. Now the top of this is not radiused, but it seems to be very comfortable. I haven't had any problems with it digging into my finger or thumb, and so the grip on this is very comfortable. No hot spots. Works good for a pinch grip. So far, just about every way I've used this, it has worked very well. So this shape of the grip, while a little unconventional, is well thought out. It's very comfortable. So anyway, those were some of the things that really attracted me to the knife. The form, the shape of it, the type of steel, the quality of the construction. Scales, by the way, are made of G10 and held on with torque screws. Now there's 3 configurations available on this knife. There's the bright steel blade with black G10 scales, or the bright steel blade with the olive drab green G10 scales, or a black blade with the olive drab green G10 scales. So there's 3 configurations, all the same price, $24.99 on Amazon. Like I say, the fit and finish on this really beautiful. It's comfortable. In terms of performance, I've done a bit of whittling with it and some cutting different things, opening packages, things like that. And like I did with the Fleece bushcraft knife, I took a piece of ebony and just started whittling away a piece of ebony. And even after doing that, it's still just shaving sharp. That's the nature of D2 steel. It just holds an edge incredibly well. And like I said, if you can cut ebony with a knife and it stays sharp, you got some good quality steel there. Now the sheath is Kydex. When it came, this clip was on the other side. And it comes with I'm not using it currently, but it comes with a beaded chain, so you can loop that through the bottom there if you want to hang it around your neck. I'm not much of a neck knife wearer, but I moved the clip, which was on the other side, I moved it to this side, so being right-handed, I can slip this in my pocket on the right side. This will go over the outside of the pocket, or I can put this inside the waistband on my waist and clip this over my belt. Either way works really well. I noticed on Amazon you can find some clips that are made for Kydex holsters and knife sheaths that extend further up, so you could potentially make this a deeper carry with a different clip. And some of those clips are pretty inexpensive on Amazon, and so I may have to play around with getting a different clip for it. Ultimately, I think this would really be pretty in a nice leather sheath, so I might just have to make a really good leather sheath for it and give that a try. Okay, so that's basically the knife. It has, so far, it's holding an edge really well. The looks and the materials that it has are really what drew me to it. And of course, the price, $24.99, kind of hard to beat that. So that's it. OMESIO compact neck knife. Oh, there is another version of this knife, just so you'll be aware. And I'll put some links to all the different versions in the video description, so you can click on one of those links and go buy one if you want. There's another version of this that's a Nesmuk version, so the blade comes up and it has more of a blunt tip, and the shape of the blade is similar in terms of the blade itself, not the handle, to a Nesmuk knife. And so And while it's probably not going to be big enough to be what you'd call a bushcraft knife, if you like that blade shape, you know, there's another version of this that, again, same quality, same materials and everything, just a slightly different blade shape. So I'll put links in the description for all those if you're interested in one of those. Anyway, there it is, the OMESIO compact neck knife. Well, there you have it, the OMESIO neck knife. I just really was intrigued by this thing. Thought it would just be a great knife to use, and so far it has been. I may try carrying this around in place of a folding knife for a little bit, see how that works out. The Kydex sheath that it has, you know, fits in a pocket pretty well. The clip holds it down. Anyway, we'll give it a try. If you have any thoughts or questions, please don't hesitate to leave me a comment. I always love hearing from you. And as always, thanks for watching.